Hello, this is a video for Lecture 3 of Biology 430, focusing on the cell membrane. The cell membrane is essentially a protective outer layer that not only separates the inside of the cell from the outside environment, but also only permits specific things to enter, while not allowing other things through. We refer to this as semi-permeable. It is permeable to some things and not permeable to other things. To go into what makes a cell membrane semi-permeable, we have to talk about the structure. Cell membranes are made up of a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipids are the basic building material to make the cell membrane, and bilayer means that there are two layers, as you can see over here. What's so special about these phospholipids? Well, they are made up of primarily two components, which you can probably guess from the name. A phosphate group that contributes the phospho part of the name, and lipids. This circle over here represents the head of the phospholipid, which includes a phosphate group. These two lines are the tail, which are made up of lipids. Phosphate groups have a negative charge, which makes them polar. Polar molecules are hydrophilic or water-loving. Lipids are nonpolar, which makes them hydrophobic, or in other words, they fear or are repulsed by water and want to stay away from it. Recall that lipids are generally made up completely of carbons and hydrogens. These tails are basically long chains of carbon with hydrogen sticking out. These are not charged. Also remember that lipids are fats, and if you ever put fats such as oil into water, they will all cluster together in an attempt to stay away from the water. So putting it all together, here is a cell with the phospholipid bilayer drawn out. Luckily, this is a video, so I could skip over all the parts where I struggled to draw this. Notice that the hydrophilic head groups are always facing away, while the hydrophobic tail groups are always facing towards one another. That's because both the outside environment of the cell and the inside of the cell, the cytoplasm, are both aqueous. Think aqua like water. In other words, these are environments that are suited for hydrophilic molecules. This attracts the hydrophilic heads towards the outside environment and the inside of the cell. On the other hand, this repels the hydrophobic tails, which want to stick together. This makes the inside of the membrane a very hydrophobic environment, which brings us back to the semi-permeability. The membrane is porous, or in other words, there are tiny holes inside the membrane. This allows small molecules to get into the membrane. However, to actually cross into the cell, they must pass through the hydrophobic environment, which means that hydrophilic molecules would have a hard time going through. As a result, the main things that can pass through the membrane without any help are gases and small hydrophobic molecules that have no charge. Most things that are charged, or large, require membrane proteins that are found in the cell, such as channels for ions and transporters for large molecules, which you will learn more about soon. So that's it. Now you know what the cell membrane is made of and what makes it semi-permeable. In the next video, we will go over the organelles inside the cell.